Hello and welcome to Mountain Aromatics. I am glad you are joining me today. I wanted to go over, I think, one of the main things that I have learned in creating fragrances and working with materials, that type of thing. So I think something that I just really, maybe you have experienced it as well, but have just been a little blown away with, like, what? That's just crazy, is the difference in smelling your undiluted 100% formula from what we call like the headspace. So this is one of my formulas called Manza Spezia, Italian. Smelling that from the headspace, or even from a test strip at 100%, and then I created a 10% of the same formula, smelling it here, smells, when I say totally different, I just mean that I get more of the nuances, that type of thing, which makes sense in some of my other videos and explaining why. It just gives more room for those different molecules, the lighter ones that are a little bit heavier, and then the heavier molecules to kind of come out. And then I put that 10% on a test strip. And it is even, in fact, I did that probably 3 or 4 days ago, and I can still smell it. But what I'm going to do is just re-dip. And I want to give it about a minute to let that alcohol dissipate, and so we'll get a better sense. So this is 1 solid 100%, 2, 3, we have one more, and that's the main thing here on the skin. But give this just a second, and so smelling the differences, just smelling this, the 100%, and smelling on the test strip, almost, I almost am like, is that a different formula? Is that a different fragrance? It's almost that big of a difference. It truly is. That's not going to be our biggest difference. Just wait a minute. So, and then just smelling from here to the 10%, it's vast. It's such a big difference in those two. And you would think, well, it's the same molecules, it's the same formula, it's the same mixture, it's the same stuff, not necessarily the same mixture, meaning you have 100% and you have this one diluted to 10%. You know what I'm saying. And then just simply taking your 10% and dipping it in the test strip and smelling it here. So I'm going to kind of tell you the difference here, and then I'm going to go to the fourth step, okay? And the fourth step, I'll just tell you now, is the biggest aha moment for me. One of my, before that, aha moments was this step right here, like smelling the 10% solution, our final fragrance, if you want to say, here, which a lot of people go up to a counter in the department store and take the bottle and just smell to see if they like it. So here and here I probably can detect 5 or 6 more nuances, aromas, materials than I can here. So this is very, very different. It's much more complex and nuanced. But the crazy thing that I'm learning and seeing more and more and more is, I wish I didn't put this in a sprayer, so I'm just going to put the 10% on my skin and let this air out. The biggest difference that I've seen that, I mean, this is so important, I'm making a video on it, okay? So this is what happened to me the other day. I dipped it in here, smelled, and then I had put some on, and then I went, and like right now, what? Mind blown. Completely different. 10%, 10% from being on a test strip to here. I smell probably 20 more things on here. It's so much more nuanced, so much more amazing, so much more, whoa, now this is a formula, as opposed to just smelling here. So a lot of times I will just, I mean, look, I have a lot of test strips. I do so because I want to know what they smell like, whatever. But I'm really being blown away by the difference of it being on my skin to here. I mean, it smells like a complete... This smells like all of the warm... You would not think this fragrance was that warm. And now that I smell it on my skin, and I don't mean heat for my skin warm, I mean like more, like it has a little bit of warmth to this fragrance, as opposed to being like super bright and airy and not much warmth to it. But on my skin, those warm materials come through. It's just completely different. That is why, to me, it's so important for you and for you to communicate to your people that, one, not just smelling the fragrance from the headspace and deciding, and even dipping and getting a test strip and deciding, whatever, but actually putting it on your skin. It does help, absolutely, yes. Seeing if they like it in the first place, if that's something that kind of gears towards their liking and what fits with them and what they're wanting. Dipping it on the test strip, they're going to know even more. You know, yeah, this is what I want to look at. So, and it could be the easy thing of you have 25 and they smell here and the test strip of the 25 things and can kind of decide from that the things that they really like or whatever. And so they've picked 5. But with those 5, really putting it on the skin, I'm telling you, it is so crazy different with just these 2. And the difference between here and here is pretty big. And the 100% to the 10% is pretty big as well. But there is no comparison with all the different materials and nuances and aromas I get from it being on my skin to here. Go, just do that as an experiment for yourself to smell the difference. It's just pretty amazing. That is why having a sample fragrance for you to wear, or your person or your people, or your customers, whatever you want to call them, for them, a family member, if you're making this for your family or for you, to wear, to put on their skin, to truly decide if they like it or not. I mean, this is just crazy, the difference. It's that big, it's that important. I wanted to do a video on it. It's just, I'm being blown away more and more. It's way more nuanced and different than I thought. So I'm going to do one more. Here we go. This is Novi Sanji. It means like fresh dreams. It's in Italian. So this one is obviously, it's very, very, one of the freshest, very, very fresh, bright fragrances that I've ever made. Super fresh, like super fresh. Wow. Like the very, very first day of spring kind of fresh. So it's, I pick up a lot, and this is the 100% undiluted fragrance formula. Then I diluted this one to a 15 because there's, to me, I did it at a 15% because I don't know, I chose 15. See, now this is funny because this smells stronger and almost brighter than the 15%. This smells a little bit, the 100% smells a little bit more one-dimensional, like it can only pick out like two things, but it is super fresh and super strong. This one, however, is like deeper and almost calmer, but I can pick up a lot more different materials, fragrances, nuances in the 15%. And this is still on here, and this was days ago as well. But I'm going to do a fresh dip. And actually, I'm going to just keep this open because I'm going to smell the differences just right away. And then I'm going to put it on my skin. But it's just so crazy, the difference. It just shows me the importance of definitely putting it on my skin than just smelling it on the test strip. I'll just be honest, it smells brighter here almost than it does here, but let me give it just another minute. There we go, it's still changing. And again, you want to smell this, give it a second, let all the alcohol dissipate, smell it in the first couple of minutes, smell it after 5 minutes, smell it after an hour, and then every hour after that, smell it, and then you could check every day to see how long it lasts. But you just want to check it at different stages. This one, I don't even know that this has a real base note. I think it's mostly top notes and middle. Very fresh. Okay, so now I'm going to put it on this side on my skin. Actually, I know I just caught myself, and you probably did as well, because the other time I did this, so I put it here, but that's okay. Guess what? I'm going to put it down here where I don't have anything. There we go. This will be helpful. Because I want it by itself, and I have nothing on the back of my hand, so I'm going to just tap. And now I have two fresh places I can smell this from. So there we go. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. And so I'm going to smell the difference between, because my real thing is like smelling the difference between the test strip, which most of us smell at 15%, and then on our skin. Crazy. Again, just whoa. Wow. The difference is night and day. This is so important. Whoa. And I'll tell you, every single one I've done on my skin smells so much better than it does on the paper. It just does. So I wanted to create this video to tell you one of my aha important moments, something that really I have found to be important, not only for you, but for you to allow your people who are trying and smelling your fragrances to know there's just a vast difference with them smelling your fragrance on a test strip and smelling your fragrance on their skin. Oh my God, this is just night and day. Night and day. It's so much more beautiful. More of the materials are coming out. There's more warmth in here than I thought was going to be there. I thought it was just going to be very, very vertical and bright. And I don't mean sharp. Sometimes I do a very vertical thing for things that are sharp. And this isn't sharp, but it's has some rounded edges, but it's even more rounder edges, softer edges with this fragrance on my skin. Wow, just guys, I love you so much and thank you for being with me. I hope this is helpful. And yes, I've kind of had to go back to my old way of doing videos, so hopefully this video, there will be no issues with it at all. It just takes me longer to do. So again, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. You can subscribe. You can also hit the bell, and that bell will let you know. It will give you an update, or it will give you a notification on your phone or tablet or wherever that I've uploaded a new video. So if you haven't done that, you can do that. And if you want to support me in a very little small way, you can do that at my Patreon page. It's Mountain Aromatics. If you go to patreon.com/Mountain Aromatics, you'll find me there. And I give you stuff. So formulas, like my formulas, that kind of stuff. And with some other tiers, I will send you fragrances to your home. Also, if you know me pretty well, you know I love making accords. So I will send you accord samples as well. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a beautiful day, and I will see you on the next Mountain Aromatics.